It's kind of wild when you think about it. Have you ever noticed how successful entrepreneurs, elite athletes, and world leaders all seem to recommend the exact same habit? They all read, constantly. And they're not just picking up random stuff either. They return to a very specific core group of texts over and over again. So today, we're diving into this explainer to break down 10 absolute life-changing books that essentially form the ultimate foundation for your personal and professional growth.
So what if reading just one book could completely change the way you think, work, and live? I know, it sounds like a massive promise, but reading gives you incredible leverage. In this explainer, we're going to distill the absolute biggest, most paradigm-shifting lessons from 10 transformative books and hand you the core concepts in just a few minutes.
Think of it like this. Books literally compress decades of knowledge into a few hours. You're getting a lifetime of someone's trial, error, grueling research, and ultimate triumph perfectly packaged in a format you can consume in a single weekend. By the time we finish up here, you'll have absorbed what I like to call the ultimate cheat codes for life.
Let's jump right into Section 1, Master Habits and Deep Focus.
Just 1%. That is the central thesis behind James Clear's massive hit, Atomic Habits. See, you don't actually need these massive overnight overhauls to transform your life. It's way simpler. If you focus on getting just 1% better every single day, the compounding effect is staggering. To put the math in perspective, you literally end up 37 times better by the end of the year. As Clear puts it, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
And those daily systems build your foundational character, which brings us straight to Stephen Covey's classic, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Success begins with your habits and character. True effectiveness, it isn't about trendy life hacks. The absolute best practical application from Covey is to focus entirely on what you can actually control. If it's outside your circle of influence, just let it go. You build your character through the proactive choices you make every single day.
But building that character requires immense focus. And that leads us to Cal Newport's concept of deep work, which is all about scheduling uninterrupted focus sessions to combat distraction. Look, in today's economy, distraction is without a doubt the biggest enemy of success. The people who are truly winning, they turn off their phones, they close all those open tabs, and they focus intensely on a single demanding task. You absolutely have to block out distraction-free time on your calendar every single day.
Moving right along to Section 2, The True Psychology of Wealth.
In Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money, we learn something that catches a lot of people off guard. Wealth is actually way more about your long-term behavior than your raw intelligence. Seriously, you can be a financial genius, but if you lack discipline, you're going to lose it all. You have to spend less than you earn, check your ego at the door, and really stretch out your time horizon. Thinking long-term absolutely always beats trying to be the smartest person in the room.
Now, taking this to the next level requires a total paradigm shift. This was famously championed in Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The rule is simple. Prioritize investing in assets over spending on liabilities. I know, it sounds super basic, but it changes everything. An asset puts money in your pocket, right? A liability takes money out. We have to stop buying things that just depreciate and start building assets that actually generate cash flow for us.
Ultimately, the Almanac of Naval Ravikant teaches us that we need to build skills that earn money even while we sleep. True wealth isn't just about a big pile of cash. It's about acquiring highly specific knowledge, securing your personal freedom, and creating massive leverage. If your income is directly tied to the hours you clock in, your earning potential is always going to be capped. You have to build leverage, whether that's through code, media, capital, or people, so the value you create is entirely disconnected from your time.
All right, let's look inward with Section 3, Overcoming Your Internal Obstacles.
In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle shows us that almost all human stress, anxiety, and misery is rooted in worrying about a future that hasn't even happened yet, or stressing over a past we literally cannot change. So, what's the actionable lesson here? Anchor yourself by living fully in the present moment. Living in the now is honestly the ultimate antidote to anxiety.
Once you're grounded in the present, you can actively start shaping your reality. This comes straight from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. It really boils down to 2 key steps. First, develop incredibly clear, highly specific goals. I'm talking exact numbers and tight timelines. Second, take persistent action. The universe has a funny way of yielding to people who know exactly what they want and absolutely refuse to stop moving toward it, no matter how many times they fail.
And speaking of not stopping, David Goggins writes in Can't Hurt Me that your limits are almost always mental. You have to push way beyond your comfort zone.
Here's a crazy fact from the book. When your brain starts screaming that you are completely done, that you have absolutely zero left to give, you're usually only at about 40% of your actual capacity. Those physical barriers holding you back, they're mostly just lies your brain tells you to keep you safe and comfortable. You have to actively choose discomfort to see what you're really capable of.
So why do we avoid that discomfort? Well, it's self-sabotage, which Brianna Wiest beautifully explores in The Mountain Is You. It is hands down the biggest obstacle to success. And how do you overcome it? By identifying and replacing your negative patterns. The mountain you're trying to conquer isn't out there in the world. The mountain is you. We hold ourselves back because subconsciously we're actually terrified of the unknown that success brings. You must actively audit your own life, spot those toxic, repeating patterns, and consciously rewrite them.
Okay, let's bring it all home in Section 4, Final Summary and Next Steps.
Let's rapidly synthesize what we've unpacked in this explainer today. Improve by just 1% a day because those small habits create massive results over time. Turn off the noise around you and focus deeply. Remember that your thoughts dictate your reality, so you've got to master your mindset. Stop stressing about tomorrow and start living in the present. Buy assets, not liabilities, so you invest wisely. And finally, keep absorbing the wisdom of the greats who came before you. Never ever stop learning. Internalizing just one of these concepts, it could trigger a massive shift in your entire life's trajectory.
Think about this. The person you'll become 5 years from now depends entirely on the information you consume and the actions you take today. You've got the map right in front of you now, so the only question left is, which book are you going to start with? Take a second, pick your path, and take that very first step today. If you found this explainer helpful, please share, like, and subscribe for more structured insights. Keep building that brilliant future, and we'll see you next time.